Good morning and welcome to the Animest, the 16th edition, and to our really nice morning with a coffee with the authors. We have today like a record of directors here with us, like physically and online. So yesterday we finished all the competitive programs. We screened the competition number 7 and number 8, and the last feature film that competed for the Animest competition. So because we are so many, and I'm really glad and I'm happy actually in this situation that we have so many guests, and we will take a tour for each of you, like the name of the film, and yeah, then we will say a few words about the topic of your films, and if it's a student film, if it's a professional one. But first, let me, because usually we will start with the online guests. Hello. But let me start first with Alessia, who have the screening right now. So just to tell us a few words about the film, and then she will go to the cinema.
If I can arrive.
So Alessia.
I'm Alessia Puli, and my film is Dust, Poussière, and it's just about two little dust characters that take life during the night, and they make the girl that's the main character, they make her dream or have nightmares. And it's all about a nice, friendly fight, if we can say so. And the story of the film, we can see that this happens every night during the sleep of the girl.
And it's a student film.
It's a student film, yeah.
And it was like made for children especially, or you didn't think of this?
I don't really know, because it's kind of my style. It's I don't do it just for children, but it came out like this, and I'm really great. I'm really cool with it, and that's all.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start with the ladies from the online.
Sorry, we don't hear anything from Coffee with the Authors. We don't hear anything.
We can hear you quite well, but I don't know.
Yeah, we don't hear you.
Lilith, can you hear us? But they are on mute.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah, like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Lilith, can you hear us right now? I think the connection is not so.
Actually, now we hear you, but when you were talking, we did not, and everybody wrote in the chat that they don't hear.
Okay. So yeah, let's start, Armin, with your film. Lilith and Armin, they are from the film When I'm Sad, and Lilith is the director, and Armin is the producer. So yeah, let us know, tell us a few words about the film.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Film is about a universal feeling of sadness. It's a travel of the smile that goes from state of sadness and connects the tips of the forehead. I was inspired by lino cut technique that I use for my printing art. The field kind of line art technique into the animation.
Yes, yeah. Hello, everybody. Really happy to see you from such a long distance. So, first of all, I would like to say that the film is done on on a poem by Lilith, and we both co-wrote the script. And if you saw the film, you also heard my voice in the film. So we have a lot of credits in the film.
Armin, unmute yourself.
Oh my God, I talked a lot and now it's difficult, sorry.
Don't touch the red button.
Thank you very much for joining this meeting. We're very, very excited, but because we also cannot be there with you. So it's really exciting. So this film is also made on the poem written by Lilith, and we co-wrote the script. And also, if you saw the film, you heard my voice in the film. So maybe for the beginning, and then we will be happy to answer any question and hear you. And it's pity we don't meet in person, but maybe next time.
I hope then the next year, yeah, would be better. So let's go to the film Whisper Down the Lane. Ragad, welcome. How are you?
Hi, hello, can you hear me? Hello. So I'm Ragad, I'm the director of Whisper Down the Lane. It's about interconnected phone calls between 5 individuals. These phone calls escalate into bigger conflict. Basically, the way that these characters communicate with each other affect the relationship with each other going forward through the film. So yeah.
Yeah, let's go further on. And a film about pudding, Royal.
Hello, hi. I'm the director of a film about pudding, and it's a film about a pudding. Basically, there's no better way to explain it. Surprisingly, it's actually exactly what the title says it is. But to give a little bit more information, it's about a growing pudding. That's not in the title. It's about someone who drops groceries which transform into a small little pudding, and then over the course of the film, the pudding grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's the question if she's gonna do something about it or not.
A film, yeah.
It's a student film, yes.
Good. So let's move on. I don't know if Paulina is with us. No. Who else is there? I don't see the names and on the. So the what resonates in silence? Hmm? Marine, yeah. Marine, can you hear us?
It's mine, sorry.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Yeah? Yeah, I'm here, finally, sorry. Nice to meet you all. My film is about the relationship we have with the language we keep from our distance, and how it can affect our life in the forthcoming. So yeah, there's no pudding in it.
Should have put some pudding in it, to be honest.
Yeah, was such a great idea. I will do in my next film.
Hello, I'm also very happy to be here now. Yeah, our film is a student project. It's about fears, rotoscoping film, and the topic is kidnapping with ex-pricing and yeah, Marcello, Marcello like slaughtering in Italy.
And it's also a student film.
It's a student project. Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you. So let's move on with the on-site guests. You are first, the dream team here. 4 of you.
So hello, can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Okay,
Okay.
nice.
Nice. So we are 4 of the team here now. So
Us 4.
yes, we worked on Digestion. So it's a student movie, and we have 5 students working on it during 1 year. During your first year.
It was during our 3rd year.
Yeah. So Digestion is a movie about, at first glance, it looked like a movie about a small creator journey and its relationship with a creator. But it's remained a movie about a woman and feelings about her body. So how she feels about herself and her journey to her self-acceptance. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie about how you feel about yourself and the things that sometimes you want to hide away about yourself, that you don't express and you don't really act yourself with people because you're ashamed. It can be physically or mentally, etc. It was about accepting them, like, and we used claymation to.
So yeah,
3D as claymation to do that.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a 3D movie with Play-Doh rendering and 12 frames per second animation. And it was our first realization, and we are kind of proud of it.
Very glad to be here now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I'm an animator. She did the texturing and some modeling and rendering, of course. She made the lighting, and we wrote the film. Like the three of us wrote the movie a lot, and he made the rigs and was in charge of
technical aspects.
The technical aspects. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank
so
you.
that's one question for you, because this is actually how the school will teach you to work in groups, in teams. And it's like this from the beginning, or you said, I will do the film with my colleague, and but how do you choose yourself? Like
it was a really good surprise because we didn't choose to work together. It was we were gathering by the professors on this movie, and it was a real meeting. We didn't know each other, and it was like, whoa, okay, let's do this movie together and share our feelings and our experiences to build it and to express something that's
At the start of the year, people write just a little script for the teachers. The teachers choose their favorite ones and make teams, and we really built on top of the small script as a team, because we really made something that we all wanted to be proud of, and we learned a lot about each other during the making of the movie, and we are still very much friends, and we talk a lot, and we really became very close during the making of the movie, and that's something that really will stay with me. And we are very proud of it because it's not even our graduation movie, it's the third year movie. So we really,
It was a nice experience.
yeah, we learned a lot and we are very happy to have made
Good.
this.
Somebody
this
says
movie.
that will be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. It's kind of cliche, but it really was.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Juliana. Take the microphone.
Hi.
Let us know a bit about My Mother's Pain.
Yeah, so this is a documentary film, animated documentary. I made it during Corona times, so I think it was a way for me to, try to rebuild a connection with my mother and my grandmother and my sister, because I was finishing a master's degree in the Netherlands, and it went full lockdown, and I had to, just try to do something with myself and do my graduation film. And I decided, well, of course, why not have a conversation with them and make this a film? And in doing these conversations, I decided that I didn't want to do sort of like the reenactment type of thing when you do the documentary. I didn't want to animate their stories again, but add an additional layer of subtext on top of what they're saying. So I just took my time to talk to them and to try to build something that is kind of non-narrative, but adding a lot of visual metaphors on top, and taking my time also just building the concept between the mother and the trees and the plants, and sort of like making something that was like an experience more than, just hearing a sad story. And in the end, it was really nice because I could let them know how I felt about them without actually doing it, and trying to mend some sort of like little mom grandma issues they were having as well. So it was a really nice experience to have. And in the end, also just send it out to festivals, which is the fun part for me. But yeah, that is it.
Good, thank you. Clara?
Hi, everybody. I'm Clara, and I'm here with my third year film, Lunate, which is like a horror fairy tale about a girl and her father living on a remote hill with their sheep, which are being attacked by wolves and by a werewolf that is like terrorizing them. And father goes out to fight the werewolf, but is not very successful. And the girl fears for his life. And one day she hears him scream. She runs to help him, and she fights the werewolf, who she thinks killed her dad. But in the end, she finds out in the worst possible way that her father was actually the werewolf all along. The main inspiration came from a classic Slovak fairy tale, Slovak fairy tales, the classical ones, are quite dark and horror and gloomy as well. Well, and when I read that one, it made some important connections for me. Like, it was the werewolf in the figure of the parent was an important parallel that I kind of needed to. It helped me name some things that I needed naming, and I'm proud of the story, and it was very important to me to think about it that way. And it was a very great experience to work on this project with an amazing group of people from my school, and to have this first experience as a director and as a storyteller. And it really made me feel so much better about my stories, that I can tell them and that I can have power through them, and that I can name things and take control of them that way, and maybe tell my experience to other people as well. It was magical and it was amazing, and I'm so proud to be here and so happy to be here.
Thank you. La Bestia.
Not to be confused with Bestia, the other film that's also in the great movie, by the way. I have to say that I've been watching a lot of short films right now, like in the last 2 days, and it's been a great selection, and it's really nice to be here among all of you. Really inspiring, and thank you, Animest, for having us. It's
Thank you for coming.
of course, it's been an honor. And well, our movie, because it's not just my movie, but my two colleagues could not be here, was co-directed by Ramtames and Alfredo Gerard Kutikat. Is an international co-production for our graduation movie at Gobelin, which is a school in France. And it's about a real-life thing, actually, that happens in Mexico, which is that there's a train that runs from south to north, like a train network, that people use illegally to travel on top to try to get to the USA. And this story is about a young Mexican smuggler that tries to take a girl to the border and help her cross because he's paid by her family. But along the way, an injury that he gets from the train transforms his perception of the story, and a lot of messed up things happen because it's a messed up journey. That's actually why the train is called La Bestia. It's really called like that because people die, people fall off the train, they lose limbs. But at the heart of it, it's a story about people and humanity and people helping each other. And that's really where we try to find the core of our story.
I'm just curious how you came up with this story. And
so the original pitch came from Ramtames, who is from Mexico himself, because me, for example, before I heard the initial pitch, I never heard of even this whole phenomenon, which was kind of shocking to me when I heard about it. That made me feel like I really want to add to this story. And he came with the idea of two people traveling on top of the train that transforms. And with that initial tiny pitch, we created the story, the three of us, like we fleshed out the characters. We tried to find a narrative that works where it was really important for us, for example, to not have the immigrants be portrayed as bad people. But it's a very, it's a very thin line that you walk where you want to show like not everything is fine and great, but you also don't want to be like, this is bad and put a judgment on it. So that was like a very tricky thing, and it took us a really long time to get that script together, but yeah, it was kind of like that.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move on then.
Hello, my name is Ben from Israel, and I and I made the film Half a Saba. It's my grad film from Shankar school in Israel. I studied visual communication and somehow found myself in animation. And my film is about, Saba is a grandfather in Hebrew. It's about a conversation I had with my grandfather. Is 94 years old now, which is crazy, and he's completely demented. He's old, and I wanted, the question that led me into this film was, what does he understand of his situation, and what is his motivation in life in this final chapter? Our motivation always drives from what's ahead, what's in the future. But then you're like in a point where you don't see any future. So I was really interested how aware of of this situation, and what does he have to say about it. And we talked for a long time, a period of a few months that I interviewed him in his house. He was in the hospital for a while, and I sat with him and recorded him. I had like 10 hours of recordings. And then I needed to create a story, a narrative, which was the hardest thing in the film, because for a long time I wasn't sure, like, where are you taking me? Like, what is this story? What is this? So that was the hardest thing, to take these 10 hours of recording, narrow it down, more and more and more, until I got to what I believe was the essence of what he had to say. And the way I chose, the part I chose to put in the film are the stories he kept on telling every time, sometimes with the same words. So, for example, he's from Turkey, and his father had like a candy shop in the market, and he speaks about it like so vividly, as if it's happening now. So I don't know what's so important about this story, but he keeps on telling it. So that goes in the film. So I let him lead me write the script throughout the process. And again, as I said, I'm a visual communication student, and I found out this amazing thing called animation during my school. You know, we were doing apps and stuff, and then like, oh, it moves. That's nice. I want to do that. And this film was actually the first time I had experience with a proper or not proper 2D animation, and it's such an amazing thing. You have like a clean slate. You can do whatever you want. Everything can happen. So I used the recording as like the layout, as like, and try to add on a layer that doesn't say the same. My one thing that I had in mind is that the visual will never say exactly what the word says, if it makes sense. And yeah, I showed it to my grandfather. He's completely obsolete of the fact that I made a film about him. He doesn't really understand what it means. But for the entire family, it was quite a nice process, because basically you know what's coming up next. So it's a step in the way, and it created conversation around this. And I guess it's always like that when you do a personal project. But then again, here in the festivals, like people tell me stuff about the film, they feel stuff about the film, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy, because it's such a personal film. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's still weird. Sorry, I don't even know how to pronounce this feeling. So thank you very much for having me here. Really, it's amazing. Thank you for doing it physically, and yeah, thank you.
Hello, everyone. So let me also say it has really been a pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, the director of the film Sisters couldn't be here with me because she broke her arm just minutes before she came with me on a train. So unfortunately, she's back home and hopefully watching us right now. So I'm a producer of a film, actually. The film is called Sisters, and it was made as a third-year film at FAMU, which is a film school in Prague, Czech Republic. And it is a combination of a marker drawing and 2D animation. We worked really closely on script and dramaturgy, because everything had to be done before the actual animation was ever beginning. So it was really amazing job also for me as a producer to work this closely with the author, because in documentaries or in fiction normally I don't have this much input. So it was really amazing to work with Andrea. So the story Sisters, it's about the hardship of letting go of things that burden us, and it's reflected with those two characters, which is a little sister and big sister. And like the inspiration, it was some family situation happening. I won't go to the details, but as you said before, also it's really interesting that each time we screen it somewhere, the feedback is really interesting, because everyone can find something which talks to him or her. So this was also something we were really interested in, to work with some subtle symbols and so on. So you can see the Hungarian folklore there, because the director is from Slovakia, but had some roots also in Hungary, and is like working in Prague, Czech Republic. So yes, European film. And also I must say that I'm really trying to convince Andrea to work for to make some more author film, because now she has been working in long features animations, but I think that she has really inspiring inner voice, which I would really like to pursue with her more. So hopefully with those festivals as Animest, I will make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia.
Hello, I'm Anastasia, and I'm the creator of the movie Elevator Alone. It's about what people do when they are alone, in contrast to the social acceptable behavior they adopt when in public spaces. It's a graduation full movie at the University of West Attica. It's a stop-motion movie with puppets. I worked almost alone in my flat in Athens. I construct all the sets there and I do all the shooting there. So it was a lonely procedure, yes.
The elevator, but
Yes.
at home.
Yes, this is, yeah.
Thank you. Markus, the last but not.
Hello, I'm Markus Rosenmüller. I'm one part of the directors of the film Welcome in Siegheilkirchen. It's a long feature film, animation. And my partner was Santiago Lopez Robert. And this is a film about, it's an homage for Manfred Dijks, who is a very famous cartoonist from Austria. He passed away 5 years ago. But he's very famous. When he was alive, they already built him a museum in Krems. And he was so famous because he was provoking so much. So our film is an homage. It's a biopic about his life, and it's a biopic about his life work. So it shows the way how he struggled in his village, in our film Siegheilkirchen, who he frees himself of all these rules that the society, that he had to obey from the society, from his parents, that he should be the follower of the tavern, certainly of the teacher in school, especially the priest, and also about so what do you have? Society and where he in the school what he has to learn, certainly. And this is the biopic, and then we put all the themes inside our draft, which concerns about the bigotry against the church, bigotry against the politics, and the right wings parties in the 60s, that they still were many fascists in our villages, also in Germany or in Austria. And this is what the film is about. And the third thing is, we could take, I think, 95% of the characters. They were chosen out of these cartoons from Manfred Dijks. And they are, at the first look, they are not so beautiful. They are a little bit ugly, as though they are also provoking, or you say, oh. But the longer I was working on this theme, I realized that I like them somehow. And the longer I was working on with these characters, I realized that it's also a little bit a mirror to myself, that I'm also a little bit Dijksisch. And first I thought I pointed out to all the others with the film, and yeah. And at some moment I realized, okay, that's me also. I have to fight like Manfred Dijks against someone that I'm also say, okay, I'm not so important. The rules are there and we have to follow. No, for me, I have to individually have to check how are the rules in which we are living and how can we change them to make it a little bit better. So this is what I learned from Manfred Dijks. My next film is about the mousse au chocolat.
But Markus, how was your experience? Because as we were talking last night, you don't have like an animation background. It's your first.
I was asked to be director. And I always, when I'm asked, I say, oh, that's super, I'm curious, I want to learn it. And so this is also again, thank you for the invitation, because it was inspiring to watch all your films. And I want to make a stop motion film next time, really. So, but it was hard work, because I was a greenhorn. And so I started to work on this project 2012. We had to find the story, and they had to find the money for it. Then we had to shorten the story, and so on. And so 2016 we began to draw it, and then we had to draw the whole film one more time, and so on. So for me as a real fiction filmmaker, it's always working on a film project, maybe 2 years or something like this. So I had one film that was also very long because of the money, but then when we have the money, we go to prepare, we go to shoot in 3 months, and we make a half year or a little bit longer the post-production. So this was a new experience for me. It was a marathon, but I like to run marathon now. So, so yeah,
you can go to Greece.
It was
talk
a
with
stupid school for
Anastasia.
me. You know, I go
and run. Yeah. Good, thank you. And let's do another tour, and it's that not questions, but it's that chat about those 2 years, the last 2 years. How does this, you know, situation influence your work, and how do you think that it will be in the future? And yeah, let's go back to Armin and Lilith.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Because I think my connection. Okay. So first of all, thank you for inviting us. It's I'm really sad that I cannot be there with you and get to know you guys in person. But I'm very happy that my first film premiere is in Animest. So it's a great thing.
Thank you.
About the time when the film was created, actually in our world it was coronavirus, but in Armenia it was war. So for me there were two big things that I had to fight and aside create a film. So it was really difficult times for me. Being creative, especially the animation part, I had to travel to France and I had to leave my country, which was in a terrible war. And I had to concentrate on work when people were dying, just like everyone was dying around me. But I think it was a great experience for the film. I discovered myself as a director who can actually do the film when there's war going on.
Yeah, Armin?
Okay, so maybe Lily told the most important part of our journey, because we went both through coronavirus and war. But I will say that we also all learned a lot, and this is a new world. I feel myself as in a world that, like, on another planet, that as if I came to Mars, and now I feel like that I need to also understand how to live in the new world, not being so sad because people die, because we lost too many things, both in coronavirus and war. And but I think that we all are creators, because what we create becomes part of this whole universe and returns to us. So that's why I believe that we are very responsible what we create for. I feel that way. So we all need to put our part of our hearts to fight our difficult time and hope, as in our film, when we are sad and the smile travels far and then comes back with a kiss. So I really hope we will all be able to come out and feel come out of this time with this kind of kiss that we all create together.
Good, thank you. Ragad, what's your last 2 years story?
Okay, I consider myself one of the lucky ones because I was working a full-time job remotely, so it didn't affect me as much. The project itself, it was a passion project. In the time that we shot the, sorry, I hit myself. Okay, and the time that we shot the footage and the stop motion, it was way before the coronavirus hit, so it didn't affect us as much.
Okay. Marin? Marin, can you hear us? Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Still the connection. I'm so sorry. For me, it was quite a lonely process making this movie. So having this weird time during COVID was a way for me to rest and to other things grow. So it was kind of going in the process of making this movie. And after that, I'm so deeply persuaded that we need to create conversation, we need to create space of discussions to question one another and to create link all together. Some other authors was speaking about that and the experience to share something with somebody with just strangers to us, and I think that's quite important to be able to create films to do that. So we can live with and people together.
Yeah, good. Caroline?
So, hello. Yeah, it was also affect us because at the first episode of Corona, I was at a farmyard with my family, so we can stay there and not at home. And yeah, we shared our life and work in the time. And there was an experience that is the inspiration for the film. So yeah, it was for us. It was a very yeah, also not that hard time, but it was time to yeah, that affect us. Anyway.
Hey, yeah, it was weird. I was lucky to go into school each day and to just be able to work on a film and kind of be in that space. But what was really strange is that so we came up with the idea for this film in 2019, December or something, and then in January when it all, well, a bit later, March when it all really started, we were still in the midst of like developing the story, and then everyone came to me being like, you're making a film about coronavirus, aren't you? And I wasn't. I didn't know I was, and I still. But it was fun because it kind of showed that we wanted to make a film which was like people could put their own stories into, kind of like see their own behavior into, and that people started seeing their own corona behavior in the film. So it's really interesting how it affected the film in a way that I didn't expect it would, and I guess in the end, maybe it has affected a bit of the story as well, but I wasn't aware of it. So,
Thank you. How was your case? Because you were allowed to go to school to no.
Actually, we had to reorganize ourselves like in 2 days to be able to begin working at home. It was very, very weird because we began the movie like we were at school all the time, every day until very late. And we we were like, oh yeah, coronavirus, it's happening. Maybe we'll get 1 or 2 days off of school. And oh my God. And Yeah, that's what we thought actually at the time. But as it began to be more and more serious, we were like, oh no, we're gonna have to reorganize everything. And we made the film, like half of the film was made at home. And Sarah really came through with her organization skills, and she made a lot of papers, and she was really a pivotal point of the movie. And she really made it possible for us to finish the movie. But we even came back to school in July. We were able to come back to school in July, and the four of us went back to school. 5 of us, but then 4 came back to school, and we finished the movie with July. The whole month of July, we went to school to finish the movie. So yeah. And maybe you want to say something.
I think it was great because we just had the time to finish to end pre-production, and it was the most important thing for us. And just it switched, and we only have to do the production. So it was like okay, I just have to work this today, and okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, we were lucky that all the pre-production and writing was finished, so that we only had to make and work to finish the movie. But we really realized making our 5th year movie in 4th year, like last year we began another movie, that we had to begin at home because we were still in confinement. And it was very hard to understand ourselves. So
yeah, we were lucky.
We were lucky that we could finish writing and everything that we had to really talk for before going into confinement. So yeah, that's that. And thank you, Ball 3D, for letting us come back in July to finish the movie.
Diana, you explain a bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of already did some explaining. I actually realized that I didn't introduce myself. So, hi, I'm Juliana, I think. And my film is called My Mother's Pain. I think I had 2 kind of realizations and positive things from the process. First one is that I sort of realized that from Corona, being apart from everyone, I really wanted connection. And this led me to understand that what I really want to make right now is animated documentaries, is to listen to others and listen to other stories and see what I can learn from them. So that is sort of like one positive thing that I could get. And the other super positive one was that I had to stay inside for 4 months all by myself. So I had no excuse to not work. I couldn't not finish the film. So it just helped me to, just make it on time. And that was it's always a good thing. And it kind of shifted the way that I work, because now I know that I can trust myself more when I want to do something. But because I think you asked something about the future.
Yeah, it was also, we discussed yesterday about this topic, and we were talking about maybe that those 1.5 years, 2 years, or maybe 3, I hope not, but that maybe will influence you like subconsciously in your future film.
And I feel that it will, because now I long for teamwork and connection. And I think right now I'm ready to step on and try to build a team of people that I work with. And also the topics that I keep going back to are always about, the entrapment of being home, of this sort of like all these feelings and emotions that I develop after being inside for so long. And I think this is like a constant thing that we're going to be seeing for the next festivals to come, sort of like this inside emotions. So it's interesting.
Yeah, also I was saying yesterday that this year we receive more films than ever. And a lot of, like some of your film, a lot of very personal stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that probably will be going like in the next years.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to see, seriously, all your films. I love them. Congrats. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Clara?
Oh, wow, that's a tough question because it really put things into perspective for me. My film I also started working on this film and on the script and on the story before this whole thing began. And I was like in denial until the very last second. I remember the day we went under lockdown, I went to school and I sat in our classroom where I work, and the woman who is at the desk letting people in, she was like, "You really have to go home." I don't want to go home. But in the end, I learned how to adapt, and with the help of our teachers, I managed to get all my work that I did in school at home, and I was really lucky to be able to do that and to be able to also work on other projects from home as well. But emotionally, it put things into perspective for me. Like when I look at that story that I made 2 years ago, really in 2019, it's so strange to me the things I was dealing with back then and how I was looking at them and how it really seems sort of even petty at this point. And and I think that in my future, I think in the next film that I'm working on right now, it will be much more visible how it affected me and how it affected the way I look at things, because my next film it takes place in a hospital, and it's about letting go of how things were when we have no control over them. And that is something I really want to talk about now, because this situation, this what happened, it really taught me that we don't have control over things. And when we don't, it doesn't make sense to kick against the stream and to fight it, because we don't have control. We don't have the control over it. And it was so hard for a control freak like me to to realize this. And it's been a struggle. It's been a great lesson in many things, and it's the way it is now, and we will adapt to it, and we are adapting right now. And the fact that we made these films under these circumstances means that we are badasses. that we did this, and it's amazing, really.
Good.
Well, I think a lot of things have already been said about this subject. I think everyone knows the struggle for the moment, like the kind of disbelief when you have to go home and you're like, really, or am I going to do this from home? Wait, how? And you have to like make the structure and everything. For me, it was kind of like you said, like I kind of just went with the flow, and I think we all, like in my team, we all just went with it. And the real hit came once you go back to school, and we had to finish the last 2 months we could finish at school, and you realize what you've just been through. And for me, this biggest thing that was like the biggest realization was we had a lot of people that helped us and that kept on helping us, even though it was such an uncertain time. And seeing that these people looking out for each other, not just in our team, but everywhere, under these circumstances is very inspiring and very touching, I feel. And that's only something I realized coming back to it and looking back on it and reflecting on it. Also, yesterday when we were here at night and we had like a little get together, then you realize like, wait, I haven't done this in like 2 years, and it feels normal, but at the same time very special. And I think everyone is going to take from it in one way or the other, maybe directly in a movie or in appreciating these things. But for me, it was mostly the retrospect of the situation and realizing like, people stick and they stay and that's is a very touching thing to realize and heartwarming.
That we could offer at least this small.
Yeah, exactly. That's we need it. The world needs it. Yeah.
So for me, it got me like in my last semester. So I was already in the process of making the film. So COVID just spurred me to go to school physically once a week. So anyway, I should have been home like most of this semester. But I really agree with Juliana, sorry, that like it made me realize that I can do it. I can work from home, and I can be. There are no excuses, so I better be efficient, and I better do it. And that's why I also became like a freelance after school, which was this very scary decision, just quitting a job, a day job, and like being a freelance. But now I know that I can do it. I can work from home. I can do my own pipeline, and that was like with the help of COVID. And I'd say one more thing, that the industry is really changing. Like in Israel, animation is booming right now. More and more animation. We have like tons of events. Every week there is something going on, like a marathon, like a jam, you know, or like a screening event. So it's crazy that we as animators really thrive from this situation in a weird way. But yeah, I'm really happy about the last 2 years. You know, there are a lot of not so good, some bad things, yeah, for sure. But it made me rethink about everything, about how I work, about my connection with the people that surround me. So very interesting point in time, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So for the film Sisters, and for me and Andrea, I don't think that COVID affected us that much, because the script development and dramaturgy was made before COVID. And actually, as Andrea is living in Slovakia and just studying in Prague, the only thing that happens was that when the COVID started, she left home and she was working from there, which was no problem for her because she's used to that. But it was interesting, as the film is really personal and also connected to her family, that she was actually working on the film in her like family surroundings, and I think it makes the film deeper in a sense. And also, I think that for me as a producer, it was interesting because I was working in more films, in documentaries, fictions, and animations, and only the animations went through because of the situations and so on. So now I'm in the process of finishing all of the rest of the films, and it's really hard. But I'm really amazed that those great animations were made during this time, and I think also that it really helped the industry. And the last thing I would like to say is that what I feel the COVID makes worse for us, and maybe also for other animators, is the festival distribution, actually, because we get to be in Annecy. It was great, but there was like half of the normal industry, and now we have the film in, I think, 15 festivals, but we couldn't be there. So this kind of shame. So I'm really glad that even just me, but it's great to meet people in person and to talk about their films and so on. I really miss that. So thank you.
When I first started my movie, it was before the COVID, but the plan was to make all the shooting in my flat because we don't have a studio in our university, because it's more like a graphic design school. So when I have all the storyboards and sets and puppets, the first quarantine came. So it was the perfect timing because I have all the things ready to do the animation. So it worked very good for me because I have the time and I could concentrate in this, yes. So it was good. On the second quarantine, I worked like a model maker in another stop motion film inspired by the COVID. So this was much harder because I had to order all the materials and tools online, and it was very difficult because you can't see the textures, the colors. But at the end, it worked, these two. So yes, it works for me.
Before the
Yes, but it affected us with the release. So we
the
had
distribution.
1 year.
Yeah.
And like you already said, it's the tension is high. How many people are going back to the cinemas again? So I just have a film in Germany, and you realized when I went on the cinema tour, oh, it's the cinema is sold out, but there are only 30 people inside instead of 90 people. So this is, and especially for comedies, and it's it's not like we wanted to have it, but it's a start. And like Ben said, there were many experiences and really also good ones. So suddenly I had to stop. I had to realize, we all had to realize how fragile everything is. But in the first moment, how fragile and is everything going down? And then you realize the solidarity. We managed to shoot a film last year with all these masks and with all the things in the nose every day. And so, but we managed, and we were also happy to shoot the film. And for me, it was really also a moment that I can. I'm now nearly 50, and you will see how fast it is going. And I'm always postponing my film, the one film I want to make. I'm always postponing. I make it in a few years and so on. And now I came back. What do I really want to make for films? And for me, it's comedy and slapstick, like Stan and Ollie, Charlie Chaplin, Louis de Funès. And it's not modern at the moment, but now I'm fighting for this, and I want to make these films again. I made it last year, and I will concentrate on this because I realized, okay, I forgot your name. I'm sorry, but I haven't heard it. Like you said, there is no Ausrede. I'm not allowed to say I haven't realized. Now I realized, and we have to, this is how changed.
Yeah.
How it was changing now. How my attitude was changing. Oh, how do I? English.
Good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your films. Thank you for keep doing it, and thank you for sending to the festival. And good luck with the future projects, and hope to see you again physically and for the online people.